Hi, if you want to watch exclusive content with hot girls that you won't watch on YouTube, namely where Naruto roasts Kushina and Mikoto and many other hot girls without restrictions, then visit my Boosty channel at the link in the description.
I'm training you today. Sasori, inside the doll, croaked in a low voice. Get ready quickly. Right now. The blonde, who had just woken up, asked. Yes, and hurry. Sasori said sternly, his voice clear that he didn't like to wait. Even without that tone, the girl knew he wasn't the type to wait for long. As soon as Sasori had left, Maruki quickly began to get ready. Since the 16-year-old girl was very punctual, she never had to see Sasori angry with her. After training, when they had already returned to the Akatsuki lair, she was called to Itachi. As the only medic in the entire organization, she was the only one who could help him now. He was feeling ill after using the Mangyokyu. Itachi-san! Maruki addressed him, entering his room so he could recognize who had entered. The girl sat on the edge of the bed where Itachi lay, her task being to stop the bleeding from his eyes. She used medical techniques to do so. When the treatment was complete, the girl warned Itachi. You shouldn't use the Mangyokyu, otherwise you'll soon go completely blind. However, a regular Sharingan won't harm you. Before the blonde could finish, the black-haired boy interrupted her and said, I know, he snapped. But Sasuke is going to kill me soon, came the calm reply. But why are you talking about this so calmly? Maruki asked, puzzled. Itachi didn't answer, wondering if he should tell Maruki his story of how he destroyed his own clan. After all, this girl, when she was just a child, had revealed one of her secrets to him. We'll talk when I feel better, Itachi said after a short pause. Well, okay. The girl agreed after thinking for a moment and left the room, closing the door behind her. As he was leaving, she met Kisame at the door, who was asking about his partner's health. How is Itachi-san? Was all the Sharkman could ask. Not well enough to go on any missions right now, Maruki answered calmly. But she was talking calmly to Kisame now. As a child, she'd avoided him, afraid he'd eat her, and the same thing happened to Zetsu. We still don't have any assignments yet, explained the man with sharp teeth. I know, Mira replied. I can't wait for them to give me my first mission, because I'm starting to feel like a black sheep here. The blonde didn't have time to finish, as Kisame was called to the leader. Today, everyone except Kisame and Itachi were on missions. Maruki was curious about the conversation with the leader, so she eavesdropped. The conversation was about an urgent matter that required 2 people to be dispatched, but Itachi needed a temporary replacement just for this one mission. Me thought this was her chance, and she wasn't wrong. On the mission, they only had to watch the fight between Sasori and Deidara against the Konoha ninja and assess the strengths and weaknesses of their opponents. I'll keep an eye on Deidara, and you'll keep an eye on Sasori, okay? Kisame asked when we noticed they'd split up. Okay, was all Mira answered. However, she was more interested in keeping an eye on Dei, as he was fighting Naruto. As they had agreed with her temporary partner, or rather, she was his temporary partner, they did so. Kisame went to keep an eye on Deidara, while me kept an eye on Sasori. The puppeteer faced an old woman who, surprisingly, was in uniform, and a pink-haired girl Miruki's age. The fight was quite intense, and even watching it could have become dangerous if the blonde had been spotted. But fortunately, she was able to observe the fight from close enough to hear what they were saying while remaining undetected. Sasori has strong opponents, but he'll still win, the girl thought with 100% confidence. But she was mistaken when she assumed he'd dodge her final attack. Sasori-sama, but why? I know you saw the last attack, Maruki thought, barely holding back tears. It was hard for her to restrain herself from attacking those who killed someone dear to her. Even though he'd been turned into a puppet and was no longer human, he was still dear to her. Sasori-sama, you could have won. But the fact that you gave someone a chance to kill you shows that there's still some humanity left in you, the girl thought. listening to what he told them before he died. I wonder if they'll reach their destination. I'd like to follow them there. Lost in thought, Maruki returned to the Akatsuki lair. The pain of loss haunted her. Chapter 4. Sasori the substitute Now Deidara had a new partner, one who acted like a child and never took off his mask. But Maruki had no time for his face. She frankly didn't care who was behind the mask. But whoever it was, for me, he would never replace Sasori. The puppeteer's death increasingly reminded her of Itachi's calm talk about his own impending death. I won't let anyone else I care about die. I don't care if it's against orders or anything else. Mira reasoned. Never again. And Itachi-san, why does he want Sasuke to kill him? The blonde struggled to keep from crying. She didn't want Itachi to die. Day and Toby were about to set out to catch the three-tailed beast when a masked man approached me and wanted to talk to her, as she was looking especially sad. Toby's a good boy. Toby will cheer up Maruki-chan, he said cheerfully, as if singing. No time, Toby. We need to catch the three tails, Deidara said sternly, grabbing the boy by the scruff of his neck and dragging him along. But Deidara-senpai, he's funny. Maruki thought about Toby. His actions and deeds made her smile. The three-tailed one was captured and retrieved. Because Kakashi was ill, Naruto and Sakura assigned a new team captain and a new team member. Tsunade ordered Yamato to search for a certain person, as someone had recently seen him. This was the person who needed to be returned to Konoha, no matter what. Maruki needed to be returned to Konoha alive, no matter what. Mira was restless again. Now she wanted to make sure the Konoha boys arrived at the destination Sasori had mentioned. She watched them, hiding in various bushes. Their rehearsal on the makeshift bridge had been amusing, and they'd also performed well. But she didn't care what happened to whom, as long as the meeting took place. The main thing was to remain unnoticed. She remained unnoticed, and besides, she even knew of Orochimaru's presence, so it was clear to her that it was a trap intended for Sasori. It was somehow even funny. Waiting and hiding was terribly boring. After all, she'd long dreamed of meeting her twin brother, whom she'd never met. She knew she had a brother who lived in Konoha, and even knew his name, Naruto. Figuring out which one was Naruto wasn't difficult. As a twin, he should have looked like her. And, as is commonly believed, twins are always, one is louder than the other. After certain events, Yamato signaled those hiding to come out. Then Maruki wanted to talk to her brother, but the moment was completely inopportune. She had no idea whether Naruto knew of her existence. Naruto. So close and yet so far. The girl continued to look for the right moment. Soon, when Naruto lost control of himself, it was dangerous even if she stayed hidden. But Mi couldn't reveal herself yet. She wanted to talk to Naruto in a calm environment at least once. When the surveillance of Orochimaru began, Maruki kept an eye on everyone. The girl infiltrated Orochimaru's lair, keeping an eye on everyone. Naturally, she couldn't follow where the others were. I wonder what this Sasuke is like. Is he as handsome as his brother? Maruki was curious, as she'd never seen him before, only hearing things about him from Itachi. What am I doing? This bastard is going to kill Itachi. I hate him. There's just one thing I don't understand. Does Itachi want to die? Maruki continued down the dark corridors, lost in thought, so lost in thought that she no longer remembered why she'd come here. Unexpectedly, or maybe not so unexpectedly, the girl met Sasuke. He's still handsome, was the first thing she thought when they met. No, Itachi is still better. While Mi was deciding who was better, Sasuke, without thinking, kicked the girl in the stomach. Who are you, and what are you doing here? The brunette asked the blonde irritably as she collapsed on the floor. It's none of your business, Maruki answered calmly, rising from the floor and preparing to attack. The boy, irritated by her calm, used his Sharingan. But no such luck. She knew how to counter it. Jin Jutsu simply had no effect on Mira. Sasuke's shock lasted only a short time, but that was enough time to use the Chakra no Mezu technique. A shinobi concentrates chakra at their fingertips, creating a sharp blade of chakra, and then slashes through the enemy's body to cut through internal organs. But Miruki didn't use it, so Sasuke simply fell asleep, Shuja no Jutsu. After this mini battle, the girl began searching for Orochimaru. And she found him, only he was also with Sasuke, who had apparently woken up while she was searching, and Kabuto. Fighting three at once was already a problem, and the appearance of people from Konoha was just hellish. Then Orochimaru, Sasuke, and Kabuto disappeared. And Yamato, Sai, Naruto, and Sakura immediately turned their attention to Miruki, looking at her in a way that made her want to run. Yamato immediately tried to grab the girl with a wood technique. But where would she be? Although the blue-eyed blonde didn't have time to understand how Sasuke had woken up so quickly after the Shuja no Jutsu, she had already begun to fight. Mi's position was unfavorable. She wanted to speak with Naruto alone, so she grabbed the blonde and, using a technique called instantaneous movement, found herself with him at the far edge of the forest. "Who are you, and what do you want?" Naruto asked immediately, cautiously. "I'm not going to fight you. I want to talk," Miruki informed the guy. But the blonde didn't believe it, and, having made several copies of himself, began to attack. Since Miruki now had little strength to fight, she used instant movement again, this time to the Akatsuki lair. Now Deidara was fighting Sasuke. Mi didn't follow this battle as closely as she had Sasori's. And rightly so, otherwise she might have died. When the organization realized Deidara was dead, Miruki was simply beside herself. Her heart was torn to pieces, like something being torn apart by an explosion. "Deidara, how could you? You knew I cared about you. You blew yourself up just to kill Sasuke, and it's not even clear if that bastard who's planning to kill Itachi is dead yet." The girl sat in her room all day, no one seeing her tears. She flatly refused to accept Deidara's death. She couldn't believe it. Miruki couldn't understand why he did it. She felt as if Sasuke was still alive, and Deidara had sacrificed himself in vain. I didn't want Sasuke to kill Itachi even more. It still wasn't clear why Itachi wanted his own death so badly. And it wasn't clear why Deidara killed himself. Maybe he knew he wouldn't win that fight. Mi was so upset that she didn't notice Itachi enter the room. She only felt him put his hand on her shoulder. Mi flinched in surprise. She didn't want Itachi to know she'd been crying. "Crying? That's not like you," the dark-haired boy said calmly. "No, nothing of the sort." The girl tried to hide her tears, but her voice trembled treacherously. "I just can't understand why first Sasori-sama didn't dodge the last attack, then Deidara blew himself up, and now you, Itachi-san, are so calm about how Sasuke will soon kill you. Why does everyone I care about act like this?" The blonde wiped away her tears and stopped crying. She felt good with Itachi. His calm was always infectious. He was like family to her, but it was more friendship than love. Miruki loved Itachi the way a girl might love her brother. And he treated her as if he had a sister instead of a brother, it would be Miruki, and he would be ready to give his life for her. Itachi finally decided to tell her the true story of his life, the story of his own clan's destruction. He knew Sasuke would kill him, but someone other than Madara had to know this secret. "Miruki-chan, I have a lot to tell you, things you don't know." The blonde turned her full attention to Itachi upon hearing this. Only then did he speak. "It has to do with the time I wiped out my clan. Have you ever wondered why I left Sasuke alive? It's simple. I've always loved him in my own way, and even now, that's why I'm ready to die at his hands, provided he's strong enough to kill me himself. I always wanted him to become strong enough to surpass me and kill me. If I hadn't made him hate me, he wouldn't have even wanted to." Itachi took a deep breath and then continued to tell the story of his hard life. "And here's another thing. I have some important information for you. In our organization, the real leader is Uchiha Madara. He always wears a mask and pretends to be a kind and sweet guy. And Nagato is just a cover. Itachi's final words left the girl in shock. She trusted Itachi and knew he couldn't lie. But what he just said was incredibly hard to believe. What? The girl asked, surprised and barely able to get the question out. After a while, the shock wore off. I have a request for you. When I die, protect Sasuke from Madara's influence and don't fall under his influence yourself. All right. The girl answered after a moment's hesitation. She'd go to the ends of the earth for Itachi. She just found it difficult. She could save Sasuke from his influence, but who would save Sasuke from her? What if there was some kind of outburst of hatred over Itachi's death or something else? After finishing his story, Itachi stayed with Maruki for a while longer. She cried until she fell asleep on his shoulder, after which he carefully laid her on the bed, covered her with a blanket, and left the room. Some time had passed since Itachi revealed his secret to the girl. It turned out that Sasuke had killed Orochimaru. For Maruki, this meant only one thing: Itachi's death was drawing nearer. The girl took a deep breath and calmed down. It seemed that losing Itachi wasn't as painful as waiting for it. Mira didn't know what Sasuke had been up to while he was assembling his team. The memory of the story Itachi had recently told flashed through my mind again. Was it really possible for anyone to just come and kill their own brother? Perhaps Itachi had overdone it in trying to make Sasuke stronger than himself. But it was too late to think about that. The younger Uchiha had already come to kill his brother. Maruki didn't witness this act, but when she was informed of the death of another loved one, she was deeply hurt. She wanted to find Sasuke right then and there and give him a good beating for what he'd done. Mira walked out into the hallway and overheard a conversation about how he would now be accepted into Akatsuki, along with Karen, Suigetsu, and Yugo. Mira was furious. Sasuke would never replace Itachi. The blonde encountered the killer of her loved one in the hallway. They both glared at each other and went their separate ways. Sasuke and his team went off to catch the Eight Tails. Maruki returned to her room. There, she pondered how she would protect Sasuke and who would protect her from him. I still have to do what Itachi asked me to do before he died. But to do that, I can't hate Sasuke. But how? How can I not hate him? It's Sasuke. He's the easiest one to kill. But for Itachi, damn it, I'll tear myself to pieces. The girl considered how realistic it was for her to do what Itachi asked. Maybe I can fulfill his request after all. For that, I'll get closer to Sasuke. Maruki knew that at that very moment, Conan and the Pains had set out to capture the Nine Tails. Mi knew the Nine Tails was within her brother, and she didn't want Naruto to die, like the other Jinchuriki from whom demons were being extracted. But she didn't know what to do. She had to sneak out of the lair to save Naruto. But there were problems here too. Mira couldn't go against Conan, as she was on her list of people dear to her, and now there were only two dear to her. The choice wasn't easy, but Maruki plucked up her courage and left the lair. She didn't put on her cloak, as she was heading to Konoha. Arriving at the scene, she saw only devastation and Naruto killing the last Pain. Damn, it'll be bad if he gets to Nagato. I don't even know which one of them I'll have to save. With these thoughts, the girl rushed after Naruto. Mi wanted to stop him, to tell him that she was his sister and how dear Nagato was to her. After all, she had once been a child, abandoned on the street, unwanted by anyone. And she hadn't lived in her home village then. She so longed to understand life in all its manifestations. Every day, she had only one dream: to see, just once, a ray of hope through the gray and heavy clouds of a miserable life. It rained every day then, and there was no sun, literally or figuratively. It was then, among a crowd of children like Maruki, that Nagato noticed something special in her, something he couldn't explain to himself. He became her sunshine during the rain. From then on, Conan and Nagato were like parents to her. Mi was extremely open with them, even allowing them to read a letter from her mother, who knew she would die when she wrote it. Maruki still keeps this letter to this day, never leaves it anywhere, it is always with her. And now, I really wanted to show this letter to Naruto, because only then will he believe that Mi is his sister. Maruki couldn't catch up with Naruto, no matter how hard she hurried. She didn't want anyone else dear to her to be killed. But by the time Mi reached Nagato's location, it was already too late. He was dying, and Naruto was no longer there. Seeing this, Maruki didn't know what to do or how to proceed. She rushed to the dying man and began to heal him, not realizing that his wounds were too severe to save. "It's useless," Nagato managed to say, his final words about to be spoken. "But why?" Maruki asked timidly, not understanding anything. "Take my eyes and make them yours. Put my eyes in your place. That's all." He was already coughing up blood. "That's all I can do for you now." The girl realized she had no choice but to listen to Nagato and do as he said. Mi very carefully removed his eyes from their sockets and first placed them in a jar. Then she removed her left eye, inserted his left eye in the place of the removed one, and, using medical technology, implanted the eye into herself. Then she did the same with the other eye. At the time of Nagato's death, the sky was covered with heavy, leaden clouds, and heavy rain began to fall. Maruki's heart felt the same at that moment, heavy, black, and of the same leaden quality. "Now, shall we leave the organization?" Conan suggested to Mira. "No, I'll stay," Maruki replied, trying not to cry. "I still need to get used to these new eyes first." "But why?" Conan asked in surprise, as she hadn't known Itachi's request to keep an eye on Sasuke was still in effect. "I'm sorry, but I can't explain the reason. But I'll keep writing to you, and I hope we'll meet again." Conan flew off into the distance on paper wings, like a bird. No one knew where or why. Maruki merely sighed deeply and, putting on her sunglasses, returned to the lair. Now everyone knew who the true leader of the organization was, Uchiha Madara. Sasuke and his team had failed the mission. Maruki would have laughed, but she had no time for that. No one could understand why, after Nagato's death, Mi started wearing dark glasses that obscured even her eyes. The next day, Sasuke was given another chance to catch the Eight Tails. I wonder if they'll reform his team or something," Maruki mused. Even though she pretended not to care about Sasuke, she hated him to death. She even wanted to kill Sasuke, but Itachi's will was law. Now Madara had no cover and was in direct control of the organization. He summoned Mira and Sasuke with his team. "Now 5 people will go to catch the eight-tailed beast. Split up, as we need to search for it again." Maruki wanted to object, but something stopped her, some strange feeling. She didn't like Madara. When everyone left the office, Karen said that she would go with Sasuke and Maruki with the others. "No," the black-haired boy immediately responded. "It's better if Maruki goes with me, and you go with the others." Sasuke, unlike Madara, didn't intimidate the girl, and she could confidently contradict him. And so she did. "What? Me with you? Go to hell, you bastard. If I go with you, I might fucking kill you." The younger Uchiha looked at the blonde with a submissive gaze, so much so that she got goosebumps, and she chose to remain silent and agree to go with him. "Okay, whatever happens to you then." Maruki exhaled and walked with Sasuke. They walked quite quickly. When he grew tired, Sasuke didn't even notice. And when he noticed she was falling behind, he stopped, turned around, and asked haughtily, "So what's the matter? HM? No, everything's fine." She tried to hide her fatigue. "Stop saying everything's fine. I can see you're tired," the guy said sternly. "So what? You don't care about me anyway. If I'm bothering you, just leave me and move on." She tried to say this as indifferently as possible, but it didn't work. Maruki's answer came out rude. I really don't care about your condition. so go quickly and keep quiet," he said indifferently. This was already driving the girl crazy. She was already boiling and wanted to kill Sasuke. Oh, if only Itachi were here. When he was near, it was as if he instilled his calm in me. Mira mused. At this point, the blonde stopped caring about her fatigue and kept pace with the commander, appearing proud. But alas, hiding her fatigue wasn't an option for long. After about 10 minutes, she slowed down again. "Hey, Sasuke, maybe we should take a break for 5 minutes?" she said, her pride running low. "Huh, and you said you weren't tired." Sasuke responded somewhat contemptuously to the question with rude treatment. "Well, this is contempt. I'll kill the bastard. What have I ever done to him? Why does he treat me so badly?" Thinking this, the girl could have cried if not for her willpower. What's wrong with me? Why does this treatment hurt me so much? I couldn't have done it. Oh no, not this. What if I've fallen in love? That can't be. Damn it. When did I even have time? Okay, let's take a short break, Sasuke said, not so rudely, which surprised the girl. But she didn't pay it much attention. After a short rest, they continued their journey and searched for the 8 tails. Sasuke and Maruki found a silly man with 7 swords. The sight of this Jinchuriki made me laugh out loud. What? Did they send those idiots after me again? Just so the kids don't pee their pants, yo. The man started showing off. He's brave, it turns out. But this situation will be corrected today. The girl answered, unintentionally in rhyme. You become like the people you hang out with. Maruki immediately thought, maybe I can outrhyme him. I'm proposing a deal. When the blonde said this, Sasuke was frankly surprised. If I beat you in rhymes, then you will surrender voluntarily, and if you win, then we will simply leave and never pursue you again. Her partner's eyes widened in surprise. You can't win with rhymes, so you better leave right now, yo. The Jinchuriki immediately came up with a new rhyme. I'm not going to quit, I'm going to win. The rhyme was no accident now. You're such a picky little thing, and your rhyme is so choppy, was all he could come up with in a very short time. Keep an eye on the market, or you'll get into trouble, Maruki said playfully, already feeling cheerful. She hadn't felt that way with anyone in a long time. Meanwhile, Sasuke stood there, frozen in the water, listening to this verbal duel. And so the verbal battle continued. Ultimately, Killer Bee couldn't come up with a rhyme and lost. However, he wasn't about to give up, so he had to be attacked. The fight was nothing to laugh about, as the Jinchuriki's chakra was terrifyingly abundant. But Maruki wasn't the least bit intimidated and entered the fray. Dodging 7 swords at once was, to put it mildly, difficult. But she nonetheless dodged well. Yes, the girl was skilled in hand-to-hand combat and water attacks. Mira gave the man quite a beating, but he managed to wound her, and was still able to fight. Damn, was all Maruki had time to think. Seeing the sword that she couldn't dodge in time, she just closed her eyes. What? Am I still alive? The girl thought, slowly opening her eyes. Then she felt a sharp pain in her shoulder. I'm wounded, but I'm alive. Where's Sasuke? The kunoichi tried to get up to see what was happening around her, but her wound prevented her from doing so. Okay, I'll treat the wound and find out everything. Mi began to treat herself with medical equipment. Once she came to her senses, she was able to stand up and saw Sasuke fighting the Jinchuriki. Sasuke saved me? That's not like him, the girl thought. Now I'll help him. Clearly, even the Sharingan wasn't helping the guy deal with this nasty guy. Maruki rushed to Sasuke's aid, but it was too late. He was already lying wounded on the ground, and Killer Bee was about to finish him off. She didn't have much strength to fight, so the blonde immediately pressed certain points on the Jinchuriki's body, immobilizing him. There wasn't enough time to heal, so she had to flee, dragging Sasuke with her. Once they were a safe distance from the Jinchuriki, Maruki examined the boy and began treatment. She was alarmed by the slow pace at which he regained consciousness. Sasuke, wake up! Mira asked, not very loudly, but clearly. He didn't respond. Sasuke? She called out to him again and thought, it's strange. He no longer has wounds that would make him fall unconscious. Why doesn't he come to? Sasuke, just don't die. Say at least something. Show somehow that you're still alive. No, not this. He can't die. No, not now. I promised Itachi to protect Sasuke. I won't let him die. This is all my fault. Am I really that weak? I'll never forgive myself for his death. The girl simply didn't know what to do. She sat on Sasuke's lap, tears welling up in her eyes. Cough, cough. The guy suddenly coughed. Sasuke? You're alive? You have no idea how happy I am. Maruki exclaimed joyfully and hugged the boy tightly. He froze with a surprised expression on his face, then pushed Maruki away and said, Damn, all girls are the same. Mi pouted and turned away from Sasuke. She was offended by this phrase, but the offense somehow quickly passed. Sasuke, I just don't want you to die, so don't scare me like that anymore, Mira informed him. Maruki, you surprise me. I remember when we first met, you wanted me dead, and now you're glad I'm alive. By the way, you had the chance to kill me back then. Why didn't you? The girl was confused. You weren't my target. I was supposed to kill Orochimaru back then. Don't you understand what happens when you leave your enemy alive? Sasuke interrupted the girl. I know he'll take revenge, Maruki said sarcastically. Enough revenge. He stopped short. Stop chatting. Let's get back to base. Sasuke, maybe it's true. Enough with the revenge. By the way, I wanted to ask, who are you planning on taking revenge on now? Now I will destroy Konoha and kill every single person there. That will be my revenge. Sasuke replied immediately, with an expression that seemed to be all for the hell of it. And they set off. I see. We lowered her head and thought, I have to somehow dissuade Sasuke from revenge, but how? While Maruki was absorbed in her thoughts, she didn't notice how they had already returned to the lair. Madara wasn't pleased with the mission's failure, but he didn't invent any punishment and decided to go after the eight-tailed beast himself with Maruki. He also wanted to learn more about the girl, for example, why she remained in the organization. He gave her a week to recuperate. Maruki got tired of just sitting around doing nothing and decided to pop into Sasuke's room. She knocked. Sasuke didn't answer. What's going on? She couldn't get through to her. Mira walked in and froze in shock at what she saw. Karen had draped herself over Sasuke, kissing him, leaving him breathless. Oh God! We have to save him! Was the first thing he thought. The girl crept up silently from behind and knocked out Karen with one precise blow to the head. Maruki, it's good you came in, otherwise she would have killed me with her kiss, the guy said, taking a deep breath. Is this your way of saying thank you, or has no one taught you politeness? Mi asked sarcastically. The younger Uchiha only frowned and remained silent. I don't believe that Itachi, having excellent manners himself, couldn't help but teach this to his brother. Sasuke became furious at the girl's last words and, pushing her against the wall, began to squeeze her throat hard. Sasuke, I'm sorry, Maruki managed to squeeze out. At that moment, he let her go and chuckled and said, That's it. Actually, this is why I came. I wanted to talk to you, the blonde said, somewhat disorganized. About what? If it's about Itachi, then it's best not to. Sasuke warned Mira. No, that is, not exactly. That is, it might be mentioned, but it doesn't play a major role in the conversation. Okay, get started. The black-haired guy said dryly. You think I'm incapable of understanding your feelings. Like how you felt when he wiped out the clan. Well, there were 5 people in that organization who felt like family to me, and of them, only Konan survived, and even she decided to leave Akatsuki and help the Rain Village. First, Sasori died because of that pink-haired idiot, then Deidara because of you, then Itachi because of you, and Nagato because of the Nine Tails. I don't get it. Are any of the people who killed your loved ones your relative? He asked, looking at the girl questioningly. Yes. Naruto is my brother. After saying this, Miruki lowered her head and sighed heavily. For a long moment, Sasuke didn't know what to say. After a while, he placed his hand on her shoulder. She jumped in surprise. A feeling of déjà vu arose. The same thing Itachi had done after Deidara's death when she cried. That hand on her shoulder felt so good and warm, as if she were close to a loved one who had known and understood her whole life like no one else. Suddenly, tears welled up in her eyes. They were tears of happiness. Sasuke realized this and hugged Miruki tenderly. She had expected everything from him, but not affection or love. Finally, I found someone who understands me like no one else, they said in unison and laughed. Chapter 14. Let's agree. It didn't take a whole week to recover, just 2 days. And the rest of the time, Sasuke and Miruki practiced their collaboration techniques. Specifically, techniques that combine water and lightning. For example, if you create a water prison for someone and then channel lightning through it, the enemy will die instantly or be knocked out cold. Then, they searched for someone to test this technique on, covering half a day. In the forest, Sasuke spotted Kabuto. Chuckling, he quietly said to his partner, "So that's where the bastard's hiding. He'll be our first victim." Miruki, without answering, merely nodded to Sasuke and attacked Kabuto. The bespectacled man realized he'd seen this girl before and immediately took up the fight. Only after starting to fight did he notice that Kabuto's left arm and the left half of his face were covered in snake scales. "What is this?" she asked the blonde ninja medic. "Orochimaru-sama is part of me now," Kabuto replied, striking the girl. She dodged. "I see. Then you certainly won't live," Miruki said, remembering the task that was never completed to kill Orochimaru. Kabuto and Miruki fought for a long time, and neither could win. Sasuke, meanwhile, had grown tired of watching and hurried to finish off the bespectacled man and finally finish off the snake. He was striking from behind Mira, so he could have hit her too. She dodged at the last split second, and Kabuto was too late. This was also one of their joint techniques, requiring great attention on the part of the girl. "Almost killed me," she shouted at Sasuke. "I knew you'd have time to dodge. If I hadn't been sure, I wouldn't have attacked," came the indifferent reply. Afterwards, they rested a bit and returned to the lair. There, they decided to tell Madara they were ready to hunt the Eight Tails. But Madara announced that he himself was going to go with Miruki. But why? The Kunoichi couldn't help but ask. "This is my decision, and it's not up for discussion," the organization's true leader said sternly. "But?" And then she saw such a look that she lost the desire to object. "Maybe we can come to some kind of agreement?" the girl said timidly. "No. I've already said everything, and yes, we're leaving on the mission right now. Get ready," Madara ordered. Miruki, head down, went to get ready for the mission. All the while, various thoughts were running through her. Why doesn't he want me to go with Sasuke? We've done so many techniques together, haven't we? It's even kind of offensive. It's like everything we did with Sasuke was for nothing. I hate Madara, but I can't leave the organization. I promised Itachi. Itachi, I will always be with your brother, as I promised. I will protect Sasuke from harm," he said doomedly into the void. Chapter 15. Paired with Madara. Miruki was getting ready for the mission, but she was still curious why Madara wanted to go with her and wouldn't let her go with Sasuke. Although she was a little afraid of Madara, she had the courage to ask why. "Can I ask you something? Why don't you want me to go on this mission with Sasuke?" "I already answered this question," he answered coldly, but at the same time with a crazy look. Oh damn, he doesn't want to talk about this damn master of the universe, thought Maruki. At that moment, he read Myra's thoughts and looked at her menacingly. The girl realized this and decided to erase the hatred for Madara from her thoughts. She didn't wait for an answer to her question, and they set off. On the way, they did not speak once, since she was worried about only one question, to which she no longer hoped to hear an answer, and Madara had no reason at all to talk to her. The Eight Tails was found quite quickly, so the search could hardly be called an interesting activity. Without a word, the pair in black cloaks began fighting. Only the Jinchuriki muttered something. The fight wasn't exactly easy, as Madara initially wanted to see what Maruki was capable of. The blonde fought the Eight Tails Jinchuriki, not understanding why her partner was simply standing to the side and enjoying the spectacle. That bastard, this fight is just a show for him. The girl couldn't hide her thoughts, but she continued to fight. Maruki couldn't defeat the Eight Tails, no matter how hard she tried. She hadn't yet told anyone in Akatsuki about Nagato's parting gift, and she didn't want to do so now. Better to lose to the jerk than reveal the secret. It seemed Maruka and her opponent were equally powerful, as they were both equally exhausted. She then decided to somehow exploit her newfound powers without Madara even realizing it. Mi simply began draining her opponent's chakra, causing him to exhaust himself faster. Everything went smoothly. The Eight Tails Jinchuriki ultimately simply passed out from lack of chakra. Well, the mission is complete, Baruki said indifferently. Let's go back. Stop, I want to talk to you, Madara said, taking the girl's hand. She flinched in surprise and, breaking free from his grasp, pulled away, saying, Don't touch me. She was already prepared to defend herself. Are you afraid of me? The dark-haired Sharingan user asked, hugging the girl. No, nothing of the sort, Maruki said, pushing her partner away. I just thought you were so beautiful. Maybe we should start dating? He smiled, but it was impossible to tell right away whether Madara was pretending. This confused the girl. No, I don't want to date you, Mi said immediately, so he wouldn't pester her. But it didn't help. Are you sure? Well, as you wish, but still. The guy abruptly grabbed her hands and pressed himself against her just as abruptly. Maruki began to struggle, but he held her arms too tightly to break free. She then tried to punch him between the legs, but the blow missed him. Damn, what should I do? While Mi was trying to find a way out of the situation, the warmth of his body had already become pleasant to her. No, it can't be. It feels so good. Maruki blushed. Madara knew she enjoyed it, so he was in no hurry to let her go. Soon, her body's need for air became apparent. Madara hadn't planned to kill her, at least not yet. He simply didn't like how close he and Sasuke had been lately. Well, just don't tell me you didn't like it. No. I still don't want to meet you. Mi struggled to find the words. Well, yes, you're in love with Sasuke. Tell me, how is he better than me? Madara asked simply. But I don't know, we just found mutual understanding. Baruki didn't know what else to say. And I thought he would hug me more tenderly than me. Madara pretended to be offended. I actually don't know how he hugs yet. She fell silent, feeling like she shouldn't have said that. Why did you start wearing dark glasses after Nagato's death? Do you have something to hide? No, it's just that ever since my son went out, my sleep has stopped being peaceful. The blonde answered sadly. As I understand it, Nagato was your son? The brunette asked rhetorically. Yes. He was my sun and my moon, my heaven and my earth. He was everything to me. He was my god. He put his hand on the girl's shoulder. But she was already too tired to treat anyone who did that with affection. She was no longer the little girl for whom even S-rank criminals had become family. Enough. Do you or anyone else need this eight-tailed creature? Let's go back to the lair, Mi suddenly commanded. Madara pressed the girl's back against the tree again and whispered in her ear, "Maybe you should take off your glasses?" No. If it hadn't been clear which of them was in charge, one might have thought from her tone that it was her. "Then I'll make you do it," Uchiha Madara said, his gaze wild. He grabbed the girl's chin and said, "Take off your glasses the easy way." His words were confident and demanding, like an order. "No," Mira said clearly and confidently. "As you wish." After this phrase, he began to perfume the fair-haired girl. "No, don't." She tried to scream, gasping for breath. She still wanted to live, if only for Sasuke's sake. Then she attacked the boy with water techniques. You only had one developed chakra element, air." Madara didn't like this. She still didn't take off her glasses or reveal her powers to her partner. The next attack was a water-air one. "So that's what you and Sasuke did in the forest for 5 days, training. But when did you manage to master those water-air techniques?" Madara said, dissatisfied and then immediately intrigued. "No, Sasuke and I played tag in the forest for 5 days," Maruki said sarcastically and let out a laugh. "In 5 days you learned to control another element, and you already think you can hide something from me. What do you want? Why are you so interested in my eyes?" "I'm not interested in yours," Mi objected. "Oh, to hell with you, goldfish. Let's go back," Madara ordered, and in the blink of an eye they appeared where they were supposed to, and everyone was preparing to extract the tail beast. Chapter 16. Multiple goals Maruki continued to hide the powers Nagato left her before his death from the organization. No one even suspected a thing. He apparently did this because he believed that only she could continue his pursuit of his goal. What he failed to consider was the fact that she might pursue the same goal through a slightly different path. After all, the girl had adopted the goals of her beloved man. All that remained was to choose her own path to achieving them. The goal is for world peace to reign. As utopian as it may be, a goal is a goal. Making the world peaceful isn't the girl's only goal. She also wants to change Sasuke so he doesn't seek revenge on Konoha. And Madara needs to be stopped now, as she doesn't want her brother to die. Having 4 goals is difficult. She might have to choose just one. Although, changing Sasuke, stopping Madara, and protecting Naruto could all be combined into one goal. The question remains, what about the goal of peace? And then there's the question, how to stop Madara? After all, he seems invincible. She needs to find at least one weak spot. Or should she first bring Sasuke over to her side? Together, they could definitely defeat Madara. And given Sasuke's strength, he'd be a formidable opponent for Madara, especially if he worked with someone like Maruki, not alone. Change Sasuke? I don't know if this is what Itachi wanted, but I don't see any other way out. Maybe I should meet Naruto? Then I'll have to tell him I'm his sister and all that. Oh well then, I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It's just that if Sasuke was my brother's friend, then he wasn't like he is now. Maruki mused. It's decided. I'll go to Konoha, and I'll help them against Madara. I'll never give him the Kyuubi. And I don't care about Sasuke anymore, whether I change him or not, whether he'll be on my side. I don't care about any of that. I only want to save my brother. And Sasuke, it's just that together we can defeat Madara, while I could lose on my own. The girl left her room and accidentally overheard Sasuke and Madara's conversation. Do you think feelings will be useful in achieving your goals, Sasuke-kun? What are you talking about? Sasuke asked, confused. About Maruki. Or does she mean nothing to you? Madara pressed him. She means nothing to me, Sasuke replied coldly. The girl immediately felt so much pain from these words. There was such pain in her heart that it seemed like it had been pierced right through. Do I really mean nothing to him? And what about that conversation where we found common ground? What did I expect from just one peaceful conversation? That he would love me? How naive I was then. But now I'm convinced he's incapable of love. Thinking like this, it was hard for her not to cry. Mira held on with all her might. Then Sasuke noticed her and, as if by chance, asked, "Why are you almost crying?" "What?" Maruki couldn't take it anymore. "Why am I almost crying? You think it doesn't hurt me when I mean nothing to you?" She couldn't take it anymore and started crying anyway. The boy continued to stare at Maruki silently. Realizing she had overheard their conversation, he understood why she was crying. "You really mean a lot to me. I only told him that because if he knew the truth, he'd kill you," Sasuke replied calmly, but with a strange warmth in his voice. He hugged the girl. "He's so strange, sometimes angry and cold, sometimes warm. It seems he's cold to everyone and hates everyone except me." Maruka's thoughts warmed, and she immediately calmed down. Sasuke didn't say it the way he usually spoke to everyone. There was a certain warmth in his words. While it was strange, it didn't bother Maruki. His actions and tone of voice had a calming effect on her. Still, they broke the embrace, and Sasuke said, "Hawk is leaving the organization. Are you joining us?" "Me? Yes. You know, I only stayed in the organization for you. So if you leave, there'll be nothing left for me here either." Maruki trailed off, thinking she'd said something unnecessary. "Excellent. We're leaving right now." Sasuke commanded his team and Maruki. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but I'm glad Sasuke isn't on Madara's side. One of our goals has been accomplished." Maruki mused before leaving, and they all unanimously threw away their red clouded cloaks and set off. Chapter 17. Fights Three shinobi and two kunoichi raced through the forest toward Konoha. It was Hawk. The team was now 5-member. After some time on the road, Maruki finally had a question for Sasuke. "Sasuke-kun, what are our plans now?" I already told you, we're going to destroy Konoha. Let's go faster." Sasuke replied. This wasn't what the girl had planned. She was, to put it mildly, in shock. Maruki struggled to contain her emotions. "Ah, I remembered you actually already said that," the girl thought, not knowing what to say. "Maybe we shouldn't do this." She finally found her words. Everyone looked at her very strangely. The Uchiha's gaze was especially suspicious. "I just thought there was so little logic to it. What's the point of this revenge? Try explaining it to me. Ever since I learned the truth about Itachi, I realized I shouldn't have killed him, and now I'll take revenge on Konoha for him," Sasuke said, raising his voice towards the end of this sentence. Now I understand why Itachi didn't want you to know the truth about him," Mira noted, accidentally saying the words out loud. True, she said it quietly and indistinctly, but still out loud. "What?" the dark-haired guy naturally asked, not having heard. "No, nothing. It's just that revenge won't bring back your brother, or any of your other relatives," was all the blonde replied. "You don't understand anything. You're incapable of understanding my feelings." Sasuke punched Maruki, gathering all his rage into a fist. She began to fall from the tree and, barely managing to grab a branch, landed on a thick one. "I see. Then I guess this is where our paths part. You and I are birds of a feather," the blonde said sadly, lowering her head and adding, "Fly, Hawk. Leave me to the fate of a lonely seagull." After these words, Maruki rushed to Konoha faster than the wind. "There's no time. I didn't think everything would have to be done in a matter of minutes. I hope I'll have time to do everything that needs to be done." Now Maruki was thinking only of her brother, protecting him at any cost. For Naruto, she would even kill Sasuke, even though she had fallen in love with the Uchiha. It was Naruto she met on the way to Konoha. She met the one she was most concerned about. Luckily, he was alone. Maruki thought this would be a great opportunity to talk to her brother. "Naruto," she said, struggling to speak. I need to talk to you. You? I've seen you before. The guy didn't have time to finish. Mira interrupted him. I know. Well, we never got to talk that time. Damn. Naruto attacked before the girl could finish. Maruki tied him up so as not to waste time on some stupid fight. I thought you'd listen to me anyway. Well, you're tied up, so you can't go anywhere, we said casually, then began her story. The story revolved around her being his sister and where she'd been all this time. Naruto listened to her with wide eyes. No, I don't believe you, the blue-eyed blonde said finally, to which she simply allowed him to read the letter. The boy was convinced. But now there's too little time left to warn Konoha of the danger. So you saw Sasuke? And he's coming here? I'd like to meet him, Naruto clarified. Just see him? Maruki sighed deeply. You'll have to protect Konoha from him. The blonde was confused. It was obvious. He simply refused to believe it. Well, I'm sorry I didn't think about your feelings. I just wanted you to know the truth. Sasuke will only come to Konoha to destroy it and kill everyone there, Maruki said sadly. Here their conversation was interrupted by Sasuke, who had already managed to cross the entire forest to the place where Naruto and Maruki were. So that's where you were rushing to, Maruki? To see your brother, the dark-haired boy remarked out loud. Are you jealous that you don't have a brother anymore? The blonde quipped. Sasuke got angry and attacked the girl, but Naruto stood between them and said loudly and confidently, Don't touch her. It's better to fight me, Sasuke. Oh no, it's about to start, the girl thought, and a fight broke out between Sasuke and Naruto. She had to decide which of them to rush to save, and then the idea struck her, observe for a while, and save the one who turned out to be weaker. However, Suigetsu didn't let her do it calmly, drawing his cleaver. I never thought we'd ever cross blades, well, was all she said, blocking a blow with her one-handed katana. Chapter 18. Had to kill Suigetsu's a good guy. It'll be a shame if I have to kill him, Maruki thought, somewhat sadly. He really is a nice guy. He can still be turned to the light side. It's much more complicated with Sasuke. Sasuke is harder to kill, even if you decide to do so, and if you talk to him, he probably won't even listen. Looks like I only have one chance left to convince him. If I can do that, then the rest won't be so much of a problem. Mira was thinking so much about how to convince Sasuke that she couldn't focus on the fight with Suigetsu. You know, Suigetsu, maybe we shouldn't fight. I wouldn't want to kill you, the girl drawled. She knew her opponent wouldn't give up, if only because he loved fighting. Huh? Are you scared? Suigetsu asked mockingly. What else? Maruki couldn't help but be angry now. She realized there was no other way out but to kill her opponent. Either she killed him, or he killed her. There was no other outcome in sight. Suigetsu hadn't been a problem for Maruka initially, and she could have always killed him. She just didn't want to. It was only now, when there was no other option but to kill him, that Mira did just that. When Suigetsu was finished, the blonde sighed deeply and, looking regretfully at her defeated opponent, looked around to see how Sasuke and Naruto were doing. Her surprise knew no bounds when she saw them both lying unconscious. Are they evenly matched in strength? It seems so, Maruki concluded. But that was all she managed to do before Karen and Yudo rushed to stop her from approaching Sasuke. Did you see what I did to Suigetsu? Do you want the same fate? If not, then you'd better retreat. I won't kill Sasuke, and I don't wish death on you. But if you get in my way, I'll quickly eliminate you as unnecessary obstacles. Killing you is easy for me, and it's not that difficult. So if you want to live, get as far away from Konoha as possible. Mira gave them a look that immediately told them she wasn't to be trifled with. Karen, sensing Maruka's chakra level, took 2 fearful steps back and fell, tripping over something. So much chakra? Karen said, timidly and fearfully, barely able to speak. Yugo, we better leave. Soon, Karen and Yugo left this place, heading in the opposite direction from Konoha. Great, we can get started. The blonde smiled slyly at her thoughts. It would be better if no one saw or knew about this technique. And truly, no one, not a single living soul, knew this technique until now. It allows one to enter an opponent's body, merging with theirs into something unified, and also entering their mind. After using this technique, Maruki found herself in Uchiha Sasuke's subconscious. It was dark and cold there. Chapter 19. Convince Sasuke. I can't see anything. It's so cold. Mira was already shaking slightly from the cold. Over time, the girl's eyes adjusted to the darkness, and she could now make out some things in this seemingly impenetrable gloom. She also got used to the cold, and her teeth finally stopped chattering. The blonde found Sasuke. He was sitting on the ground, crying. This surprised her somewhat. The girl silently approached the dark-haired boy from behind and put her arm around his shoulders. Get lost! The Uchiha hissed furiously and immediately kicked the girl in the chest with all his might. She wasn't expecting the attack, so she didn't dodge or block it. What are you doing? The girl exclaimed indignantly, jumping up from the ground and getting into a fighting stance. Listen, I didn't come into your subconscious to fight you. I just wanted to talk. So sit still and don't move. For safety, she tied the boy up. For some reason, Maruki thought he, like Naruto, wouldn't want to listen to her. Sasuke, I will never tire of repeating this. Give up revenge before it's too late. She didn't finish. Uchiha interrupted her. I don't want to hear anything about it, he shouted. Damn you, idiot! Maruki shouted, gagging her. Interlocutor. Now she began her speech. Sasuke, you shouldn't take revenge on Konoha. Remember how you said I meant so much to you? I'm starting to think you lied to me back then. If you didn't, you have to listen to me when I remove the gag. Nod if you agree to listen to me now. The boy nodded. Maruki pulled the gag out of his mouth and began to tell him something. I understand, of course, that you've chosen the path of Avenger, but you are very dear to me, and that's why I don't want you to continue down that path. Don't seek revenge, just forgive everyone and let them go. As one wise man said, revenge doesn't bring back what's lost, it only takes away more. I ask you to think about these words. And you know why? Because if you seek revenge on Konoha, you'll lose me. Or rather, I'll lose you, because I'll have to kill you. Mira lowered her gaze as she spoke the last word. For her, killing her beloved would only bring unnecessary pain. Pain, pain, more pain. It's as if there's no escape from it. But as the saying goes, if you don't feel pain, then you're not living. There was silence for a while, after which Maruki began to say things that could at first be taken for some kind of delirium, defying any other description. I will erase my past. I will plunge into oblivion. I don't want to know what happened then. Let my love grow. Let it blossom like never before. And let everyone know how much I love. Love this world, these animals, birds, and even people. The fact that they don't understand me doesn't mean they're stupid. I just need to awaken love in them, and everything in the world will shine. The whole secret of the world is in love, in the pure love of everything, in desire. The desire to feel, to sense nature, the desire to see it as it is. I look at the sky and cry. Why is everything so easy? Why don't they understand me? Don't they even try to hear me? But I am a warrior of life in this world, and I will be patient with those who don't hear and don't see me. They should wish, as I am already here, as if I were an angel, a protector. I always listen to my heart, hearing this wonderful singing of everything, trying to understand people who refuse to break free from their illusions, who refuse to awaken to this world, which is even brighter and stronger. Remember, if you truly desire something, all the forces of the universe will conspire to meet it. Everything depends only on you. The main thing is not to be afraid at the last moment. Otherwise, all the efforts of the difficult path to the goal will be in vain. Know this. I will always be with you, my love. I am and will be your source of life. Sasuke remained silent, listening to the girl's strange, unlike anything she'd ever heard. He uttered only one word. Nonsense. What? The girl was indignant, after which she lowered her head in dismay. You? It seems I can't get through to you. Sasuke, if you weren't lying when you said I meant so much to you, then explain to me why you won't give up on this damned revenge. Miruki screamed at the last words, barely holding back the tears that threatened to spill from her eyes at any moment. Yes, you mean a lot to me, but I should not be distracted by any love before committing revenge. No, after you take revenge, you'll have no friends, no comrades, no love. You'll lose everything. The blonde screamed, feeling powerless to convince the man so dear to her. Sasuke, you're driving me crazy. I can't stand you. And indeed, she couldn't stand it, and tears started flowing from her eyes. Suddenly, she felt someone's warm hands on her shoulders. They were the younger Uchihas. Due to her tears, Miruki simply didn't notice how, and when Sasuke managed to untie his knot. Hush, don't cry. He was already soothing the girl. Let's take revenge together and start traveling the world, making money from murder. What? Are you crazy? What, you think revenge is more fun together? You know, I killed Suigetsu when he decided to fight me, and Karen and Yugo ran away, afraid I'd kill them too. I think you're strong enough to replace all three of those. Sasuke noted out loud. Hey, are you even listening to me? You're right about my ability to replace the Trinity, of course, but I'm never going to make money off of murder. Miruki wasn't crying anymore. She was calm. I simply must take revenge. And I won't rest until I do it, the boy said firmly and confidently. Do you ever think about the future? Imagine a time when you've already taken revenge on everyone you can and everyone you can't. And what will you do then, when you're left completely alone? Sasuke once again demonstrated his ability to interrupt whoever was speaking and found something to say. And you, I wonder, how much do you love me? Judging by your speech, you only think about yourself. Me? Just about myself. You fool, I'm thinking about you, about your future. I just love you and want everything to be good between us. Yes, I'm thinking about myself too. I don't want to lose you. Please don't take revenge. The blonde looked at him pleadingly. It seemed like she was about to burst into tears. The younger Uchiha remained silent. It was clear that he was thinking about something. Sasuke, tell me, do you remember how you longed to take revenge on Itachi? Did you get your revenge, and did it bring you happiness? I know it didn't. Just like any other form of revenge won't bring you any happiness. Your heart is full of hatred instead of love and friendship. Is that the kind of crap you want from life? The girl tried to persuade her beloved not to seek revenge. I've been thinking. Sasuke paused for a moment. Miruki, I think you're right. But there's one problem. After everything, the road to Konoha is closed to me, and now everyone there wants me dead. Oh, come on. I'll take on the Hokage, and she'll somehow convince the others that you're now on the side of light. Okay, let's go to Konoha. You've convinced me. I won't take revenge on anyone. The Uchiha replied calmly and smiled tenderly. Miruki managed to convince Sasuke just when her hopes for this had almost run out. Chapter 20. Who is the Hokage? Miruki dispelled the technique and saw both Naruto and Sasuke still unconscious. Dragging them both would have been too much of a burden, so she revived them with the help of her medical skills. The boys woke up at the same time and stood up. Miruki immediately began keeping an eye on them, making sure there wasn't any fighting. Naruto, as soon as he stood up, was ready for a fight and lunged at Sasuke. Mira only grabbed her brother by the collar of his jacket from behind, and to her surprise, that was enough to stop him. What's going on? Maruki-chan, why won't you let me attack him? The blonde was eager to find out. Naruto, don't worry, he's with us now, the blonde said, smiling. Naruto himself understood little of his sister's words, and so he once again had one question. What? Did you do something? The questions only grew like a snowball. I didn't do anything to Sasuke, we just talked. Naruto interrupted. But how can a simple conversation influence a person's opinion of the world? Firstly, don't interrupt when your sister is speaking. Secondly, if you choose your words correctly, you can solve almost anything with conversation. Oh, well, that's understandable, Naruto said, smiling. It was clear he didn't understand a thing. But it didn't really matter whether he understood anything or not. He needed to hurry to the Hidden Leaf Village. I wanted to say that Grandma Tsunade is currently in a coma, and Danzo has been temporarily appointed Hokage, Naruto suddenly said when they were already close to Konoha. Who's the Hokage? Maruki was surprised and angry at the same time. Danzo, the fair-haired guy repeated again, this time more sadly. Couldn't you have told me that right away? Okay, I'll find a way to work this out too. I'll try, Mi replied. Come to terms with Danzo? I think it's easier to swallow the horse whole, Myra's brother replied. Well, that's what we agreed on. If I manage to reach an agreement with Danzo, you'll prove to me that it's easier to swallow a horse whole. Swallow the horse for me, got it? Maruki laughed. What horse? Hey, I didn't agree on anything with you, Naruto protested. Uh-huh, so I do have a chance to talk old Danzo into it after all. Although, you know, Naruto, I've got a better idea. I'll bring Tsunade out of her coma, and then they'll return her to the post of Hokage, and Danzo can kick himself. You can do it? Uzumaki Naruto was surprised. Of course, easily, Maruki answered, smiling broadly. She enjoyed being near her brother. Sasuke remained silent the entire time. He couldn't help but smile, seeing how happy Maruki and Naruto looked. The younger Uchiha would have loved to be happy with his brother too, but alas. Already at the village border, the girl, her brother, and Sasuke entered the village. Mira immediately rushed to escort her brother to the hospital. The Uchiha also went with them. They had to conceal their chakra as best they could the entire time. They had to bring Tsunade back to consciousness discreetly. Maruki used only one medical technique. When the fifth one regained consciousness, the girl treating her nearly collapsed herself, but eventually managed to stay on her feet. Chapter 21. Almost everyone is happy. Tsunade was very surprised when she woke up, seeing Sasuke and, what's more, spotting the girl she'd sent for some time ago. And what surprised her even more was that the girl turned out to be an excellent medic, so much so that she had no training left in the field. Then Shuzan came in to check on Tsunade. She was equally surprised by everything, especially the fact that the fifth had come to her senses. Tsunade-sama, I'm glad you've woken up. I have some news for you, Shuzan said to the fifth. Spill it quickly, Tsunade commanded, as if she were completely healthy. Yes, and I need to eat. Danzo failed his probationary period as Hokage and was killed by Madara at the summit. And Kakashi almost became the sixth Hokage, Shuzan reported, and went to prepare food for her mistress. Now, Naruto, explain what these two are doing here. The woman pointed at Sasuke and Maruki. And they're on our side now, was the only way the blonde could explain. What? And Sasuke? The Hokage was clearly surprised. She glanced at the brunette. HM? Yes, me too, the younger Uchiha replied. He didn't like the look in her eyes. It was evident in his expression. While they were talking, Tsunade was brought food. Fifth began to eat until her strength was fully restored. Sakura soon appeared, so happy to see Sasuke-kun that she couldn't contain her emotions. Sasuke himself tried to keep his distance from her, as he had from Naruto. The Uchiha was only there because of his beloved Maruka. "Sasuke-kun, I'm so happy!" the pink-haired girl exclaimed and rushed to hug Sasuke. He only pulled away from Sakura and, going to Maruki, said, "Listen, Sakura, I love her, but I don't care about you. And I decided to come back only for her sake." "Got it? I see," the girl replied sadly. Then she smiled to hide her jealousy. Mira herself had some kind of disgust towards Sakura. Sasori's death made it impossible to treat her well. Although, when Uchiha rejected Haruno, Meraki felt an urge to pity Sakura or sympathize with her. "In honor of Tsunade being okay, I suggest we all go to Ichiraku Ramen," Naruto exclaimed. "That's a great idea," Maruki agreed with her brother. "I've never been there." "Well, that's great. Let's go." He had already decided, without asking Sasuke and Sakura. "Sasuke, come with us, and Sakura too," the blonde called out to them. "Come on!" And all four of them, Maruki, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, went to Naruto's favorite spot. Along the way, they negotiated who would pay for whom. Sasuke was willing to pay for himself and Maruki, and no one else. "Sakura-chan, should we split the bill?" Naruto suggested. Mira immediately noticed her brother's greed and addressed him with the following words. "Don't be so greedy, brother." After these words, she whispered in Naruto's ear, "If you really like Sakura, you'd better pay for her and for yourself." To which the blonde nodded. He was already prepared to pay for Sakura, having heeded his sister's advice. The group was greeted with joy at Ichiraku. Although Sasuke wasn't immediately recognized, and Maruki had never been seen before, that didn't dampen the restaurant owner's joy. Naruto ate several servings, Sakura and Maruki each ate one, and Sasuke ate one as well, only for Maruki, so as not to upset her. The Uchiha, however, didn't feel like eating and felt somewhat uncomfortable. He wanted to be alone with Mira. Sai walked into Ichiraku then. He was surprised by the crowd, but quickly pulled himself together and said, I was just passing by. And who's that hottie sitting next to Sasuke? Let's get acquainted." "Okay, I'm Maruki. What's your name?" the girl replied kindly, smiling sweetly. "Nice to meet you, Sai," the guy said, with his usual smile on his face. After meeting Sai, Mira again turned her attention to Sasuke, who had not said a word until now. "Maruki, let's go," Uchiha suggested to his girlfriend. "I want to see how much Konoha has changed." Everyone except Maruki was surprised by how Sasuke had changed again, but he ignored the surprised expressions. "Okay then." Mi agreed to go for a walk with her boyfriend, as she realized that he wanted to be alone with her. Uchiha Jr. paid for himself and Maruki, then they left the restaurant and went for a walk. Chapter 22. Walk At first, they walked slowly, holding hands, then Sasuke quickened his pace. Then the girl became curious about where they were going. "Sasuke, where are we going?" Maruki was bursting with curiosity. "I want to show you something. I know that place wasn't destroyed during Pain's attack," the boy replied. That's interesting. Well, let's go." It was clear from her voice that Sasuke had intrigued her. The two walked to the other end of the village, and the entire way Mira spent trying to figure out where they were going. The thing was, this was her first time in Konoha, and she knew nothing about it, so she dismissed such thoughts. "We're here," Sasuke said, as they reached the abandoned Uchiha mansion. Maruki saw the Uchiha clan symbols on the fence and immediately came to some conclusions. "Is this your house? And this?" The girl glanced at a small hole in the fence, presumably from a kunai. "Yes, as you thought, a mark from a thrown kunai," Sasuke answered. "Are you reading my mind?" She was surprised by her boyfriend's answer. "It wasn't hard to guess," the younger Uchiha said calmly. "Yes, you're probably right about that." There's just one thing I don't understand. Why did we come here? Maruki asked. When I left the village, I never imagined I'd ever return. That's why I didn't lock the door or take the key with me, as if to say, come in, take whatever you want. And now, even though this place doesn't bring back the best memories, I want to stay here with you, Sasuke said, then looked tenderly at Maruki and kissed her. The blonde really liked the way Sasuke kissed. She even involuntarily responded to him. Without thinking about anything, she just felt very good. Don't you think we're rushing things? The girl asked after their passionate kiss had ended. I didn't know how else to say that I love you, was all Sasuke answered, looking into Maruki's eyes. Since the girl wasn't wearing sunglasses now, they could both admire each other's eyes. Mira felt like drowning in the abyss of his black eyes, while Sasuke was sad the girl didn't have her eyes, but he was pleased with what he saw. Suddenly, their idyll was interrupted by Naruto, who somehow knew they were there. The blonde said, Maruki-chan, a message arrived. Tsunade thought it was for you and asked you to come see her. Can't this wait? The blonde asked lazily. Grandma Tsunade said it was urgent. Naruto answered his sister's question. Then Sasuke and I will go. Maruki didn't finish, as her brother interrupted her. He said, No, she asked that you come to the Hokage's office alone. Fine. I wonder what this message is and who it's from. Okay, just show me where it is. Well, let's go. Wait. Those eyes, what are you doing? That's the Rinnegan. But why do you have it? Naruto was surprised. I'll explain this to you sometime later, but now let's go, Maruki said, putting on her glasses. And also, don't tell anyone about this yet. The time will come and many will find out about this. The girl added, and they went to Tsunade. But then Sasuke stopped them and said, I'd better see her out. This somehow surprised the twins. They both looked at Sasuke strangely. Let's all go together, Maruki suggested after a short silence. Great idea. At least I'll get to talk to Sasuke, which I haven't done in so long, Naruto exclaimed happily. Just because I came back doesn't mean you're my friend again, Sasuke explained. Naruto only sighed, but the three of them walked on anyway. What Maruki was thinking about at that moment, only she knew. It's hard to bear them both, but they're both dear to me, and if Madara hurts or kills either of them, I'll never forgive him. That's the main reason I have to stop Madara. Yes, I will stop him, no matter what. Maruki mused about the future. Chapter 23. Letter Well, here we are, Naruto said when the trio were already at the Hokage's residence. I think it's up to you from here. Go to the top floor and the last door. Thank you. I think I can find the office, Maruki replied to her brother. Just don't fight without me. The girl addressed both boys and entered the building. As Mira climbed the stairs, her heart briefly sped up, and a sense of unease crept into her soul, the kind that happens when you're expecting bad news. But she tried her best to convince herself that everything was fine. And so, the blonde enters the Hokage's office, without even noticing how she climbed the stairs. Are you a Zanami, Maruki? Tsunade asked the girl who had just entered, after she had already closed the door behind her. Hello. Yes, you pronounced my name correctly, Maruki replied politely. Do you even realize that this isn't your real name? The fifth Hokage snapped. Mira didn't even flinch. She wasn't at all intimidated by Tsunade's anger. The only thing that scared her was the inevitability of a fight with Madara. After all, Madara seemed invincible. Yes. Since Naruto is my brother, I should share his last name, but you must admit, it would be strange for people with the same last name to live in completely different places. Besides, it's somehow implausible for a famous clan to have people with the same last name. Maruki explained her reason for taking the pseudonym. Okay, well that's understandable, the Hokage thought for a moment. Okay, Let's talk about the message for you. I don't know how long the Rain Village has been sending us letters, but that's the only way I knew it was for you, since you used to live there. The fifth girl handed Maruki the letter, which was shaped like an airplane. The girl immediately guessed it was from Conan. Only one question remained. Was this message good or bad news? The blonde unfolded the paper, airplane, and began to read. This was crucial, because if Conan was writing, it meant something very good or very bad had happened, but it was always something important. Maruki, as I expected, Madara needs the Rinnegan. He's decided Nagato still has the eyes. If Madara gets to the body, he'll realize you have those eyes. I've accepted the fight, and if I lose, he'll figure it out. I beg you, prepare well to meet Madara. If I lose to him, please, at least you don't lose to him. That was the content of the letter. This greatly disturbed Mira. Excuse me, is there anyone in the village who can teach me earth elemental techniques? Naruto's sister asked, knowing full well that the 4 elements she'd already mastered weren't enough to defeat Madara. While 5 elements were probably too few, she had to at least try. Yes. How soon will you need it? Tsunade was somewhat surprised by Mira's sudden change in behavior, as she didn't know the contents of the letter. The sooner the better, and right now is best. What's his name, and where can I find him? She replied, immediately asking Maruki, after which Fifth acted a little strangely. Okay, there's Yamato. Ask Naruto about him, the woman replied. It was strange that she agreed without even thinking. Okay, well, should I go? Maruki was already getting ready to go out the door. Yes, go, Tsunade said and began to continue working on her important papers. The girl went outside, where Naruto and Sasuke were waiting for her. Surprisingly, they didn't fight, which was good, albeit surprising. But right now, Mira wasn't thinking about whether these two would fight. She had more important things to do. Naruto, where's Yamato? I need him urgently. Let's go to him right now, came the order from Maruki's lips. But huh? Naruto replied very intellectually. Okay, let's go. The twins went to Yamato, and Sasuke was brazenly ignored. The younger Uchiha's eyes widened in surprise when he found himself alone. This was clearly something he'd never experienced before. Chapter 24. Earth Fortunately, there were no incidents on the way to Yamato. Maruki remembered how she'd ignored Sasuke some time ago. She thought he might have been offended, or perhaps he'd understood correctly. In any case, there wasn't enough time to explain everything. Naruto wanted to take his sister to where Yamato lived, but they met him on the way. Captain Yamato, the boy called to the man they needed. Naruto-kun, I'm glad you're back. Did you bring Sasuke back? Yamato Taicho asked. I didn't. But Maruki, I don't know how she talked to him or what she said, but she convinced him to come back. I see, the man replied, and looking at the girl, he recognized her as the one who also needed to be returned to the village. And this girl is Maruki? Yamato asked Naruto, pointing at Mira. Yes, I am Maruki, the blonde answered, not giving her brother a chance to speak. Or have you forgotten that day when you were spying on Orochimaru? I was spying on him then too. Exactly, I remember. Yes, a day like that is hard to forget. Yamato justified himself. This is why I came to you. When I asked Tsunade who can teach me earth elemental techniques, she said I should come to you. The blonde explained her visit. I see, so I must become your teacher. Well then, I agree. When shall we begin? Yamato said all this. What's the point of waiting? I'm ready right now, the girl declared immodestly. At first, Mira's future teacher was surprised, but he hid it, then said, Right now, so right now, the man said with a sigh. Let's go! Maruki easily persuaded Yamato to start training her, even easier than she expected. She smiled, and they headed to the training grounds. Maruki smiled at her brother, instead of saying, "Bye." Again, the journey went smoothly, which is a relief. It's a relief, at least, because it didn't take much time. At the training ground, the girl grasped everything quickly, as they had decided to dispense with the theory right away. Well, to be honest, she had already learned the theory, practicing techniques of other elements. Mira herself was very surprised at how quickly and easily she mastered everything, almost on her first try. Sometimes it felt like a dream. Everything was so easy that she didn't want to believe it, like a fairy tale. Several times, the girl asked herself, "Is all this really happening? Forgive my curiosity, but I'm curious about one thing. How can you control the 5 elements?" Yamato asked during training. "Well, I wanted to tell you anyway, maybe a little later, but I was going to anyway. I think now is the time," Maruki said, not quite clearly, and took off her sunglasses. Yamato stared in shock at the Rinnegan in the blonde's eyes. He looked as if he'd been struck by lightning. "As far as I remember, the previous bearer of the Rinnegan brought devastation to Konoha," the man barely managed to say. "Huh, you think I'll do the same?" Mira just laughed. "Well, you made me laugh. This man was dear to you, wasn't he?" Yamato-sensei asked. "Yes, but I don't hold a grudge against anyone for his death," the girl answered calmly and almost indifferently. "How did you get the Rinnegan? Tell me, if it's not a secret," Yamato asked again. "Stop. What is this, an interrogation?" Maruki asked, surprised. "No. If you don't want to, you don't have to tell me anything. I was just really curious," he justified himself. "I'd better tell you something else, perhaps something more important." The girl paused, and then, noticing her sensei's interest, decided to continue. "Conan is currently fighting Madara. He attacked her because she wouldn't tell him where Nagato's body is. I don't know why Madara needed the Rinnegan, but the fact remains. So, I must be prepared to fight Madara. I don't think Conan will be able to defeat him, even though she knows a lot about his powers, but it might not lead to victory. If Conan dies, he will find out where Nagato's body is and, not finding the eyes, he will realize that I have them. Therefore, let's return to training, because Madara will kill me and get the Rinnegan if I can't defeat him." After this conversation, they trained for several more hours. By evening, she had mastered all the earth elemental techniques Yamato could show her. Then she wanted to combine different elements into a single whole. Water and air, like fire and air, provided decent abilities even without enhanced genomics, but a combination of water and earth, without a genomic, produced only mud or swamp. Besides these combinations, she also learned the 6th chakra element, accessible only to Rinnegan wielders. This element is known as ether. Thus, it became clear how one of the panes altered gravity. It doesn't exist on its own, but has a carrier, physical space, which has a certain reality and attributes beyond the gravitational field itself. Similarly, in the theory of electromagnetic ether, the electromagnetic field didn't exist in itself, but as a property of a specific carrier and field-generating mechanism, ether. That day had been quite productive. By nightfall, Maruki wasn't sure who to go to, Naruto or Sasuke, since she didn't yet have her own home. So she decided to invite both boys, saying they'd be better placed to decide. Mira waited for the boys to arrive to receive their messages. Each had their own message, none of them mentioning the other boy would be coming. They both looked at the blonde strangely, wanting to say, "Why didn't you warn her he'd be here?" But why would she warn them? They wouldn't have both come anyway. Chapter 25. The housing issue Seeing the boys' expressions, Maruki broke into a smile. Then, still smiling, she said, "Good evening. Since I don't have a place to live right now, I'd like to spend the night with one of you. Any suggestions? I suggest you come to me, since we are brother and sister." Naruto immediately offered. No, better with me. You see, the old mansion brings back some bad memories, and with you I'd be distracted. Besides, this gnome only has one room and one bed in his apartment. Oh, Sasuke, you've already spent the night at Naruto's, and in the same bed with him? So you're cheating on me? The girl joked. What? Sasuke was about to snap, but realized it was a joke. This isn't funny. Come on, don't be mad, Sasuke. Mira smiled and looked tenderly at the boy she was addressing. It's impossible to stay angry with you for long. Sasuke looked tenderly at Maruki. Mira and Sasuke got to talking, and for a moment, they even forgot about Naruto. Naruto himself, completely confused by the whole scene, couldn't even think of anything to say. Ah, Naruto, why are you still here? Go to bed, my sweet brother. I'll spend the night at Sasuke's. Mira kissed her brother on the cheek. Naruto blushed and went home. Never before had a girl so unceremoniously up and kissed him. The blonde hadn't yet gotten used to having a sister and treated her almost like an ordinary girl. It could have been interpreted as such, if you didn't count the strange bond that always exists between brothers and sisters. And between twins the bond is even stronger, though it would seem that nothing could be stronger than that kind of familial connection. Sasuke's house was already tidied. When they'd walked by the mansion earlier, the dust had been as thick as the soles of shoes. Sasuke probably cleaned it himself, but that's normal. He can't breathe dust all the time. A tidy house didn't surprise the girl. What did surprise her was a candlelit dinner. She definitely didn't know Sasuke could cook. And most importantly, how did he figure it out? It was as if he'd read her mind and predicted the future, all at the same time. You're incredible, Sasuke. You have no idea how much I love you. Maruki hugged the boy, and he hugged her back. The couple sat down to dinner. They were very happy together. They looked at each other with loving eyes. Two lovers by candlelight. What could be more romantic? It turned out Sasuke wasn't just a cook, he was a very good one. And then she wondered what else he could do just as well. Sasuke remembered their first kiss and decided to repeat it. It seemed to her that this time the kiss was somehow different, more passionate and exciting. It was so wonderful that she didn't want anything else. A moment later, Sasuke's hand slipped from the girl's waist to her bottom and began squeezing her buttocks. This made the kiss even more passionate than before, though it had previously seemed impossible. Maruki and Sasuke loved each other very much and therefore could afford anything. At least, that was their opinion. In a fit of passion, they began to pull each other's clothes off. Once they were naked, Sasuke began caressing Maruka's breasts, while she caressed his back. The naked couple laid down on the bed to continue their mutually pleasurable encounter. Their caresses grew increasingly aroused, and moans began to escape their lips. Sasuke began to slowly enter her, trying to avoid pain. But realizing she was still in pain, he decided to enter faster so as not to torment her. Sasuke distracted her from the pain. He caressed her breasts and stomach and nibbled on her earlobe. As soon as the pain subsided, he began to thrust inside her, slowly at first, but gradually increasing his speed, and the passion intensified. The moans grew louder and more frequent, and the bed creaked ever more loudly. Fortunately, the mansion was far from other houses, otherwise someone would have heard them. A gentle wind blew outside the window, and the full moon shone brightly. A dog howled loudly at the moon. Maruki and Sasuke fell asleep, holding each other tenderly. They were so comfortable that their sleep could be called blissful. Chapter 26. A new portion of hatred Morning. Sasuke stood by his bed, his gaze glaring at the following scene. Maruki and Madara, both naked, were sleeping on his bed, cuddled together. The younger Uchiha's eye twitched nervously, trying to figure out what kind of visual art this was. Madara, asleep, looked pure, like an angel, and Maruki was no different. Just two sleeping angels, their faces filled with peace. Everything would have been fine if this hadn't angered Sasuke. Ahem. Sasuke coughed to let them know he was already there. Madara hadn't been sleeping anyway, only pretending to. After Sasuke's cough, he'd stopped pretending. Mira woke up and didn't immediately understand why Madara was lying next to her instead of Sasuke. She was simply shocked. Only when she saw the younger Uchiha's expression did she realize how awkward she was. Sasuke, well, I don't understand anything. How is he? This? Maruki couldn't find the words to explain to her lover how she ended up in bed with another man. She couldn't even explain it to herself. Don't worry, honey, everything will be fine, Madara said, hugging the girl. He played well. What are you doing? The blonde screamed and punched Madara in the face, causing him to fall off the bed. Mira realized she'd been wrong to push him off the bed. He dragged the blanket down with him as he fell. The girl found herself completely naked, and Madara, however, seized the opportunity to leer at her, making her blush. However, she had one non-combat ability, instantly dressing, which she did first. Bitch! Sasuke shouted. Whore! Get out of my house this instant! But Sasuke, I'm not like that. Just listen to me. Maruki tried to calm the boy down. I'm not going to listen to anything. Get lost or I'll kill you, the younger Uchiha shouted. At that moment, Madara simply stood to the side and admired the fruits of his creativity without doing anything. Sasuke, please! I love you. Why won't you listen to me? Mira was already getting angry. I see how much you love me. That's it, I've had enough. Loving you is self-deception. I hate you. Go away. But... The girl wanted to say something else, but nothing came out. The sound of a slap was heard. Sasuke hit her. Okay, whatever you want. I'll leave, but you'll still remember me, the girl said coldly and left. Maruki wanted to be alone now. She felt so bad. It would have been better not to meet anyone on the road. And indeed, she didn't meet anyone. Which was for the best, because she was in the same mood Gaara had once been. She could kill anyone she met. Mira was simply strolling through the village, looking for a place where she could be completely alone. She wandered for quite a while, because, as luck would have it, the place was packed with people. It's like that. When you need someone, there's no one, but when you want to be alone, there are plenty of people. Only at the other end of the village was there a secluded spot. It was the only thing Mira could be happy about this day, which had only just begun. She sat down and took off her sunglasses, as the current situation had nevertheless made her cry. Maruki never considered tears a weakness. Often, those who are always in a good mood in public cry into their pillows at night. Those who are always cheerful, without showing weakness in public, cry the most at night, unable to console only themselves. Turning at the sound of footsteps, the girl saw a rather attractive guy. She found him just as attractive as Sasuke, though different. His demeanor suggested self-confidence. Chapter 27. Untitled The dark-haired boy looked into the blonde's eyes, and the gazes of the Byakugan wielder and the Rinnegan wielder met. For some reason, Maruki didn't want to hide her eyes from this boy. He was drawn to her by the chakra in her eyes, which was different from the rest of her chakra. That's why he approached her. From a distance, Niji performed a kind of ultrasound on the girl using his Byakugan. Hello, Niji said calmly and confidently. What should I call you? I'm Izanami Maruki, the girl answered automatically. And what's your name? Hyuga Niji, the boy said indifferently. Yes, the girl's last name doesn't ring a bell, especially after names like Hyuga and Uchiha. If only because the last name doesn't even exist, it's just made up. The girl raised an eyebrow questioningly, as if to say, What do you want from me, Hyuga Niji? There's one thing I don't understand. Why do you still call yourself by your fake last name? Naruto is your brother, am I right? I've gotten used to calling myself that. Initially, it was to avoid attracting attention, but now I can't seem to break the habit. Before saying this, Miruki noted the other man's insight. Outwardly, she didn't show any surprise. I'm surprised by the Rinnegan in your eyes. They're not your eyes, are they? Niji asked again. Right. I see you're very observant, Niji-san. This isn't appropriate, but perhaps we should use the informal you? Miruki suggested. The boy seemed open to the idea and nodded in agreement. I kept tossing the idea of asking you about this, but I'm going to ask anyway. May I know why you were crying? I'm not going to pity you or reassure you, saying, everything will be fine, I'm just curious. As always, Niji was calm and confident when talking to Miruki. It's good that you're not going to reassure me. After all, by feeling sorry for someone, you only make things worse for them. Hearing these words, the boy began to think that their thoughts were somewhat similar, but he decided to end his investigation into any further similarities in their thoughts there. Now Niji changed the subject. Miruki-san? Hyuga addressed the girl. What? She wondered what he was going to talk to her about. I can tell by your eyes that you're in trouble. I don't like it when girls look so sad. Problems? I think everything can be resolved. It's just a fight with Sasuke. But I think everything will work out. Miruki smiled. Well, if you're sure everything will work out, then maybe we can go somewhere together. We'll get to know each other better. Okay. I have nothing better to do right now anyway. Mira agreed quickly, even though it hinted at a date, or at least, that's what Sasuke would have thought if he'd seen them together. Walking through the village, they talked for a long time and shared many details about themselves. The conversation flowed easily, both eager to confide in each other almost all their secrets. Then Niji and Miruki sat down together on a park bench and continued their conversation. The girl leaned against the back of the bench and felt someone breathing on her hand. It was a large white dog, and a boy was sitting on top of it. Oh! Mira was slightly startled and removed her hand from the dog's muzzle. Hello! I'm Kiba, and this is my dog, Akamaru. The boy addressed the girl. Well, hello. And I'm Miruki, she replied to Kiba. If it were Hinata, she would have blushed by now. But Mira isn't Hinata. Now the blonde started talking to this guy too. Now there were 3 people talking to each other. Soon, Tenten and Hinata appeared together for some reason. Miruki wasn't surprised. She hadn't known since when they'd been friends, but the boys clearly only just noticed. Niji? Why are you with another girl now? Tenten got angry and quickly hit Niji. Oh God! Was all Miruki thought. Why is she so angry? Kiba was simply shocked by this sight. Hinata, blushing, muttered something incoherently. And Mira said, Love, damn it! But you know what I'm going to tell everyone now? If anything, I only love Sasuke. Tenten looked at Niji with a look that said, I'm sorry, I thought wrong. Hyuga understood and forgave. Okay, I'll go. Maybe Sasuke has calmed down and is ready to make peace. The blonde smiled and headed towards Sasuke's house. Chapter 28. A very strange proposal. It was already late evening when Miruki returned to the old Uchiha clan mansion. She was immediately alarmed by the suspicious silence. She quickened her pace, and her heartbeat quickened as she did. On her way, she encountered none other than Madara Uchiha himself. Mira was surprised by this encounter. It was a shame Miruki never realized that this face, too, was fake. Madara? What are you doing here? Where's Sasuke? And it's surprising you haven't turned into him again. Miruki immediately said everything she thought upon meeting Madara, not at all shy about addressing him informally. He clearly wasn't happy with this tone. I've thought about it, and decided to offer you a deal. I won't kill you or take your eyes, provided you help me, Madara said confidently, pleased that he'd put the girl in a hopeless situation. What? I'll never help you again, especially after what you did last night. Uchiha cut her off, touching her lips with his finger. You enjoyed the night itself, didn't you? The question sent a jolt through the girl. Everything that happened that night immediately came flooding back, and along with it, she remembered the fact that she hadn't known it was Madara. She'd been 100% sure it was Sasuke. She'd enjoyed that night, but when she found out who it was really with her, it was a deeply unpleasant realization. So, Maruki didn't even know how to answer that question. You're silent? So it really was pleasant? Madara smiled contentedly. I don't have to answer that question, if only because you didn't answer mine, Mira objected. Ha, you don't have to answer, I already know. I've known for a long time that you enjoyed it, he said, making a face as if he himself had certainly enjoyed it. You? How dare you? The blonde gasped. She thought it would be wrong to get angry so easily. So what do you think of my proposal? Uchiha changed the subject again. What? What made you even think I'd agree to this? The girl decided to give a negative answer right away. It's a shame. I really didn't want to kill you, the guy said with some regret. You didn't want to? Of course not. So I believed you. Couldn't you think of anything smarter? No. How strange. I thought you could come up with something smarter, Maruki replied rudely. Quiet, don't shout. He began to soothe Mira. She calmed down, but she didn't stop being negative towards him. She would never forgive Madara for ruining their relationship with Sasuke. It was ironic. She had previously talked Sasuke out of revenge, and now she desperately wanted it. Before, she considered killing Madara her duty, but now it was personal. And let the world know how terrible a woman's revenge is, and how cruel Maruki can be in it. I'm sure you're wondering why I haven't killed you yet. I had a pretty good chance to do it last night, when you were sleeping, but I couldn't. Do you want to know why I couldn't kill you? Madara tried to explain. Mira thought about it, because it was true. Madara had the opportunity to kill her that night while she was sleeping, but for some reason, he didn't. Still, the Uchiha managed to pique her interest in the reason. Why couldn't he kill her? He really didn't kill me. Why? Maruki asked. It's all because I love you, Maruki, he answered the girl, kissing her hands. And for the same reason, I didn't want you to be with Sasuke, the guy continued. The blonde was surprised by these words, believing that this could not possibly be true, even when everything seemed so logical. No, that's a lie. Do you really think I'm so naive as to believe such words? But be that as it may, I only love Sasuke, and I don't care about your feelings, Mira snapped. Madara lowered his head, feigning pain and disappointment. He acted so well, it was impossible to tell the difference between acting and reality. He was such a good actor. Besides, you still haven't told me where Sasuke is. Whatever you propose, I won't agree to it until I see him. Sasuke's alive, so you don't have to worry. Madara reassured the girl again. Come with me. Let's remember the time you were such a great help to the organization. Remember the 8 Tails. I didn't expect you to defeat it back then. Listen, I know perfectly well that you need strong people like me, but you can't even count on me. The blonde interrupted the brunette. But I don't understand why it's no. If you were in Akatsuki only because there were people you loved there, then why did you stay in the organization when they were gone? Madara squirmed like a snake, just to convince the girl to work for him. I love Sasuke. I stayed back then only for him. When he left Akatsuki, I left with him. The girl explained, but she didn't finish, as she didn't want to go into details. Stop. You hated him at first because of Itachi's death. You could have left then. He was still trying to figure something out. It's just that I learned from Itachi that Madara Uchiha is hiding behind the mischievous masked boy. He told me as much when he was still alive. Itachi revealed many of his secrets to me, including the fact that he cared for his brother. He loved Sasuke to the end, and wanted me to keep Sasuke from learning the whole truth. I didn't keep that promise, so I did everything my way. Itachi planned his own death and wanted me to take care of his brother from then on. But that didn't happen right away. As you already said, at first I hated him because of Itachi's death. Then, before I even noticed, that hatred turned into love. And then, I decided to do the same with Sasuke's hatred, and as a result, he fell in love with me, Maruki explained to her interlocutor. After which he said, "Excellent. Then I only have one question left for you. How did you manage to convince Sasuke to dissuade him from revenge?" Well, at that moment, I'd lost everyone I cared about, and that helped me find common ground. But unlike Sasuke, I had no plans to take revenge on anyone. I was looking for other people who would become dear to me. I didn't even tell him anything complicated. I just said that revenge doesn't bring back what's lost, it only takes away more. Maruki answered Madara's questions, knowing he wouldn't let go anyway. "I see," was all the Uchiha said, and then he said a few more words before disappearing. "You have a week to think about what answer to give regarding helping me. And you'll find Sasuke here." And he threw a note on the floor. Chapter 29. How to save Sasuke. Without a second thought, Maruki rushed to read the note Madara had left. There were indeed some coordinates there, and she hoped there wouldn't be any traps. Although, she should be prepared for any contingency. Sure, she'd find Sasuke. But what should she do next? How could she make peace with him? Maybe he wouldn't listen, or there would be a trap wherever Maruki went. What's this week to think about what answer to give? I think I already gave him a clear answer, the girl mused. Judging by the coordinates, Sasuke is somewhere near the western border of the Land of Fire. It was dark outside, the sun had already set. Mira didn't know whether to go after Sasuke or wait until dawn. After thinking about it for about 5 minutes, she finally decided to go after Sasuke alone. Arriving at the place where the younger Uchiha was supposed to be, she didn't immediately realize where he was. But soon Maruki spotted the boy inside some kind of transparent sphere. This surprised her a little. The blonde kept wondering what it was. How to open the sphere? The first thing that came to mind was to simply destroy it. But Sasuke wouldn't let her do that. "No. Stop," the guy said loudly. "Why?" Maruki looked at her lover, confused. "You won't open it that way. Although, try it if you want to kill me," Sasuke said with a hint of anger. "But Sasuke, why so rude? I don't want you to die. I don't know what you're thinking, but I love only you. And you're so cruel to me. You selfish bastard. Who do you think you are?" She was now indignant. "And doesn't that night with Madara mean anything? You're the one acting like a prostitute. I hate you. If you don't want to rack your brains over logical riddles, then leave me here and go. I'm not important to you." Maruki couldn't bear such words. She screamed, "Do you even know how to listen, idiot? I love you, fool. Stop saying you're not important to me. It's a lie. You're the most precious thing I have. I can't imagine life without you." The girl burst into tears. "Stop crying. Don't forget that you're a ninja first and foremost. How all this snot irritates me. When I don't have hatred in me, I'm not as strong." Uchiha Sasuke said, "Here you go again with your hatred. You know what I think about all this. Let this hatred burn like a blue flame. So I got involved with you, and now I'm starting to hate everything and everyone. And before this, I would never have believed that hatred could be so contagious." Maruki also said everything she thought. "That's great. Now go away and have sex with Madara," Sasuke said, finally getting angry. "It's strange, he's so emotional. If he really didn't care, he would have ignored everything I said." The girl mused. "Well, okay, even though pride gets in the way, right now it's wiser to save him. No matter what you say, I'm still going to save you." So what were you talking about logical puzzles? How can I free you? Well then, free me if you want. It's like putting together a puzzle, only harder, and if you make even one mistake, it will kill me. Whatever Sasuke was thinking, he still wanted to be free. I see. The girl found the so-called puzzle and pondered how to assemble it correctly. After all, even one mistake could cost Sasuke his life. Maruki was very nervous, and it was interfering with her thinking. Okay, we need someone really smart who won't make mistakes. The girl calculated. But damn, I don't know everyone in Konoha yet. I've only heard about one guy. They say he's the smartest in the village. Okay, I think I know who to ask about him. Sasuke, just be patient for a little while. It looks like we can't do this without help. Without waiting for any response from the younger Uchiha, Maruki headed to Konoha for help. Chapter 30. Smart solution When Mira returned to Konoha, the sun was already rising over the village. Well, I haven't slept all night. Oh well, I wouldn't have been able to anyway, worrying about Sasuke. Okay, I'll go see Naruto. Get up, the girl shouted, already in Naruto's apartment. The boy, suddenly jumping out of bed, yelled, "Huh? What? Where? When?" and turning awkwardly, fell out of bed with a crash. Naruto, how long can you sleep? The sun's already up. Mira was angry at her brother for some reason. But Maruki-chan, why did you come? I slept so well. Naruto yawned, his eyes watering slightly. No time to lounge around. I have something for you. Tell me, who is this guy who's considered the smartest in Konoha? Wait, let me think. The blonde scratched the back of his head. Right, I remember. It's Shikamaru, Nara Shikamaru. Excellent, take me to him. The girl commanded her brother. Damn, let me at least get dressed. Noticing his sister's anger, Naruto decided to hurry. The boy got ready, and they headed to Shikamaru's. After all, it was the boy from the Nara clan who was considered the smartest in Konoha. We got there. Naruto knocked on the door, even though he thought Shikamaru might still be asleep. But oddly enough, Shika was already awake. He was having breakfast. Damn, who brought us here so early? The guy said indignantly, stretching and yawning. Okay, I'll open the door. Hello, I'm Maruki, Naruto's sister. This is the first time I've ever asked anyone for help, but right now, there's no other way. Anyway, there's no time to explain. Let's hurry. As the girl spoke, her brother stood there with his mouth open. He wanted to introduce Maruki to his friend himself. Oh, women. Okay, what's the problem? Shikamaru finally agreed to help the girl, realizing Mira wouldn't leave him alone anyway. Let's go. I'll explain on the way. Get ready, I'm waiting. Anyone who doesn't know Maruki well would think she's a bossy person. That might be true, but it's worth remembering that when she gives orders, she knows what she's doing. The boy got ready without making them wait too long. Naruto decided to go with them. No one objected, although Naruto wasn't needed there. All they needed was a smart head. On the way to the border, the blonde explained what was required of Shikamaru. And so, the trio arrived.